Do we give Charles the first pick since Van, you've been on this podcast more than he has? I think we should. Charles, we're going to give you the first pick. I'll give you the choice, Van. You could be second or you could be the third pick, which means then you're batting fourth too, because we'll go snake fashion. All right, so you're going to go third. So we have two in a row.
Ooh. Mm-hmm. All right, so we are drafting best character, right?
So let's talk about what this means. Are we saying it's best character? Are we saying favorite character? Are we saying combination of both? Are we saying these are the characters that will be the indelible for the rest of my life? I will think this was the best character on the show, and then it drops in severity after. Like, let's say if we did this for The Wire, who would have been the first pick?
Avon. For me? See, here's the thing.
It would be Stringer Bell for me, to be honest.
Oh, Avon Barksdale is the number one gangster in the history of, like, to me, Avon is the man. I would have drafted Avon first. But I'll say this. I'm drafting my
I would have drafted Stringer. I mean, Charles and I would have been fighting for Stringer.
Interesting. I would have drafted Avon first. It's funny that nobody would have drafted any of the BPD first, but I would have drafted Avon first. But I'm drafting I'm drafting my favorite.
Your favorite.
Character.
All right. So what? So
I'm not trying to win the draft. Yeah.
We're doing favorite characters, and then we'll see who has what team at the end. All right, Charles.
All right, favorite
you go
characters.
First. You're the first pick.
All right, so this is, I gotta just do it. I think that this actor has the chance to be the greatest actor of his generation. I think this character is the most accurate and probably important character in terms of like a reflection of what America is in 2023. I have to take Kendall. Like, I have to just...
Yeah, he's the man.
It's what Jeremy Strong has done through the course of these seasons is something where, I don't know if you guys agree, I don't think Jeremy Strong had the chops in that first season to really be a leading man. Like,
it took him half the season, I feel like, to get. We talked about this on Prestige. When you do the rewatch, he doesn't really settle in. I don't really feel like any of them really do until like midway through that season. But that makes sense, right? They're learning these characters.
But to watch those first couple episodes and compare them to like where Kendall is now. I was watching This Is Not for Tears and just seeing just the jump that he has made as a performer. I think Kendall is one of my favorite TV characters just of all time. I have to go Kendall first.
Van, where would you put that in greatest HBO acting performances? If Gandolfini's won. I don't think he's supplanting Gandolfini.
Gandolfini's
and I don't think he's supplanting Adebisi. I think Adebisi's probably two.
Even Adebisi having the hat stay on his head for the whole time of Oz itself deserved 3 Emmys. I don't understand how the little hat stayed on his head the whole time. So Gandolfini's way up there. Edie Falco's way up there. I mean, to be honest with you, Edie Falco is way up there.
He's on whatever the HBO shortlist is. I think Kendall.
Whatever the HBO shortlist is up there. Peter Dinklage, all of those people up there in those situations. Bill, did you watch Thrones? You watched Thrones.
I love Thrones. I'm less upset about the last season than other people. Because now people are like, no, fuck Thrones. The finale sucked. I'm like, Thrones, I enjoyed it the whole time. I'm sorry that it didn't win the title in its last season, then it just made the second round. I'm sorry it was the KD Booker Sons.
Right.
Still a good show.
But
I feel the same way. Wire Season 5, I've gotten into arguments about. Wire Season 5 was good. There was one plot that didn't work. But if you go back and you watch the season finale, the series finale, it's one of the fucking best series finales ever. And
I watched it last week. It might be the best. I was just like...
It's fucking amazing. It gets no credit. It's not in the discourse at all. It's like, oh, the journalism plot sucked. And that's like the season 5 take.
Yeah, the Wire season finale, the Wire season 5 is not well loved, but I like it. I mean, I like it. You know, the serial killer plot was a little wonky, but whatever. But I think Jeremy Strong was way up here, way up there in HBO acting performance. But I think the whole cast is, if I'm being honest, like this could be a situation where the whole cast makes appearances on that list. So, man, I'm not sure.
All right, I'm up second. This is really hard. There's some good people left on my board. I'm going to go with Roman, and I'm going to explain why.
Damn,
Roman.
I think
I was definitely choosing him.
So
second pick?
If we did advanced metrics on this show and who just got off the best lines, I would say Roman has maybe 50% of the best lines in the show. So we'll start there. Second, he took this character. It was like, oh, it's the spoiled rich brat. He's going to be the Macaulay Culkin brother. I see who this guy is. And then as the first season's starting to hum, especially when we get to the Prague episode, and Roman just goes to another level. It's like, oh, we're doing this. Then the Jerry stuff. It's like, oh my God, we're moving now. And then we get to season 3, and he's starting to get a little footing more. And it's like, this guy might have a chance. Jerry's helping him. He's empathetic with Kendall. Maybe he'll be the better brother. And then season 4, what a roller coaster ride, where every time it feels like he has it in his grasp. He's too impulsive. He's going to fuck it up. I thought some of the acting that Kieran Culkin did, especially this season, is as good as anything that's been on the show and on HBO. And the funeral scene specifically, but I think that character is incredible. So I'm happy to have him on my team. Welcome aboard, Roman.
I can't believe you have somebody so toxic. He is a cancer to any team.
It's a TV show.
Roman.
It's a character.
I was going to draft him. I was going to draft Roman, and if not just for, of all the times that I've laughed, the scene, I'm sorry, y'all. Y'all can't tell me anything. Kalika thought I was losing it. The scene where he sends the dick pic to Logan.
and he makes the face.
That is the funniest fucking shit, dog. That is the when he comes back, brother. That is the funniest fucking shit, dog. Like I'm like he's like, Roman, are you some kind of sicko?
He does like the freeze frame take. The stuff he does physically with his body in some of these scenes, because I don't know how big he is. I don't think he's maybe taller than 5'6", 5'7", but
nah,
he
he's
can do all these
guy.
different things with his shoulders. Yeah. All right, Roman second.
Yeah.
Van, you got 2. What are you doing?
I gotta go with Logan. So I was gonna go with Roman, but I gotta go to with Logan. A guy of my age has seen a lot. From Cox and I saw him. He played Hannibal Lecter in Manhunter. He was in Rushmore. He's been around, and you've seen him in a lot. You always knew that he was
great stage actor.
Great stage actor. You always knew he was a badass. But the whole show, the ethos of the show, the driving force of the show, the world that we're in is sort of created by Logan Roy's personality. In much of the same way, remember we were on the Rewatchables, I talked about how the MCU, the world itself is Tony Stark's portrayal, is Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal as Tony Stark, like that character. That's kind of the same thing with this world in Succession. It's all Logan. Everything is dripping with Logan. They're either running from Logan or running towards him. So I definitely think that he would be somebody. I mean, you have to pick him. He's left on the board. You got to pick him, right? You got to pick him. He's the guy you got to pick.
From Force of Nature TV characters, it's him and Soprano.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, is there anybody else on that level?
So,
Not really.
I want to ask this, though, with Logan. I know, like, everybody has been saying, all the critics, have been saying this show could go on forever. Is that true without Logan now? Because, like, after, like, Logan has left this series, I'm like, no, this is actually the perfect place to end it. I don't know if you could have done another season without that gravitational pull.
It would have been tough because you end up like a lot of great TV shows over the years where they just hung on that extra year and it was just such a bad idea. To me, it's like the what's sitting there is the movie where you get through this and maybe 5 years from now, you make it just an incredible movie with a lot of these same pieces and we catch up with these people 5 years later. I think it'd be too hard. I personally think it'd be too hard to do another season. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think the episodes that we're getting now are really good, but they're really good because Logan the funeral did a good job of saying goodbye to him, but Logan kind of isn't dead until somebody takes his place.
Yeah.
And then the question then will become, all right, is the person that takes his place, is there enough Loganiness to move on? And I'm not sure that there is. I think that's a fair point that Charles is making.
One of the reasons this draft is so much fun is like 2 of our top 3 picks were just horrible human beings, Roman and Logan. But they're incredible TV characters, right? And that's the whole point of this is how can you write a character? How can you find the right actor who could just capture every single piece of it and make you feel empathy for them, even though they're bad people? I can't wait to see who you take 4. I know who I'm rooting for you not to take with the 4th pick. Van, who do you got?
I know who I should take. It's easy.
I don't think it's easy.
But I'm not going to take that person. The person that I'm going to take is a 2018 starter on Team All White Girl.
I know what he's doing.
I'm taking Shiv Roy.
No. No.
Hey, we're talking about,
bruh.
Okay, Charles, am I allowed to be myself? Okay, I'll be somebody else for Charles. I'll be someone else. I'll be somebody else for Charles right here. I'll be somebody other
No,
than
you
who
already
I am.
said it. Big Shiv.
I won't be
Big
me.
Shiv. The first person who picked Shiv was going to lose. Like, I'm just going to be honest.
It's not, but see, here's the thing. This is the difference between you and I is generational. It's not about winning or losing. It's about fulfillment.
Everything is about winning and losing.
It's not. And what I'm telling you right now is I'm picking Shiv Roy. Shiv Roy burst onto the scene for lots of reasons. Okay. And I like the portrayal of Shiv. I think that the portrayal of Shiv is fantastic. Sarah Snook does a great job. Okay. A lot of people have been critical of her, recently. A lot of people have, but I remember
what people have been critical of her recently. What's going on?
Oh my God. They are writing Shiv like sometimes.
Is this in the Twitter streets?
Bruh, that election night episode was tough on Shiv, man. It literally was tough on Shiv. They were writing Shiv like she was Paulie Walnuts. I'm serious. Like they were like she was being outdueled at every single.
It's
corner.
pretty rough. The fake phone call was pretty rough. That's among the dumbest moments in the show.
You got knifed by cousin Greg. Like, come on, man.
Yeah,
come on.
But look, but can I tell you something about Shiv Roy? Besides, what Sarah Snook hath given us, the reality is that
just say it. Stop. We're on Bill's podcast. Say this is because of the badunk.
She fine.
Just be real.
She fine. And she been fine. But let me be real with it. Let me be real about it a second. Shiv, in terms of her character, has had one of the more significant arcs in succession. She started off on the outside to a degree of the Roy family structure. She was drawn back into it with her father, by her father, should I say, and almost was lured into reinserting herself into a lot of things that it seemed like she didn't have very much interest in. And to watch her now have to deal with all of this stuff, but at the same time earn the respect of her brothers, earn the respect of Mattson when she had to deal with Megan in the last episode and he says, "You hate me?" She goes, "The way I feel is irrelevant." That's her trying to be in that same mold. And I think that's very interesting to do. Then, knowing that right after that, we were going to see that character, brilliantly played by Sarah Snook, break down and be between half tears and half bewilderment at Tom's vulnerability. I love Shiv for the reasons that I first loved her and for the reasons that the character, for the way that the character performs now. I love Shiv. I really do.
So, Charles, I'm sitting there with the second pick in the draft, and there are 2 people I liked equally. And I tried to guess what Van was going to do. And I knew if I didn't take Roman, Van was taking him. And I knew Van was going to take Logan if I didn't take Roman. but I didn't want to take Roman. I wanted to take Tom because I fucking love Tom, and we'll go into that in a second. But I knew Van was going to take Shiv with one of those two picks. It was like being in the draft in the NBA draft with somebody who's the GM is right after them. It's like, oh, that guy loves dunkers. He just fucking loves people who are up in the air just slamming home alley-oops. He's going to take the Thompson twin. I don't have to take the Thompson twin now. I'll take the guy I want because I know he's going to take him. Anyway, I'm delighted to have Tom, who you could say pound for pound, the best character on this show. Arguably the funniest character on this show other than Roman. Great arc. Fantastic actor. I think the actor with the best chance to come out of this show and have a pretty big career. Like, I guarantee he's going to be the villain in some Die Hard type movie, or he'll be in the Marvel universe or something. I think like bigger things are coming for him. What?
A Bond villain.
Or Bond villain?
He could be a Bond villain.
He would be a really good Bond villain.
If there's a spin-off show, I think he could be the Better Call Saul, the spin-off show. So A, delighted to have Tom. I think he's been incredible start to finish. I love Tom. B, Shiv was way lower on my board than I think you guys would be prepared for.
I thought whoever picked Shiv would be like the big loser. Like, shout out to Joanna. I love you, like the greatest to ever do it. But Shiv is like the character, if you were going to ding Succession, that I feel like they have had the hardest job writing and figuring out what she is to this show. Like every other season, it's like it's a different character.
And we've argued about that. It's especially at the beginning of season 2 when the dad's clearly playing her and she can't see it. I've had a hard time establishing like how savvy is she?
Yeah,
you see her like rubbing shoulders with like Mattson or whoever, and it's like, oh, she's great. And then she can just get outwitted in like 2 seconds.
Can I be real with you? I feel like people say that, but Logan did that to all of them. He literally, what we just described of him doing to Shiv, like he did that to all of them. He had Roman on a string, an emotional string. Couldn't stop texting him. He literally has Ken by the balls. Like Ken tried to take out Logan and he failed. So a lot of people, I think that criticism of Shiv, I think she's maybe written to make people wonder if they're being unfair to her, because that criticism of Shiv, Logan did that to everybody. Every one of his kids, he lobotomized them. Khan too, he destroyed Khan's whole life. Khan has the best life, but in terms of what the way we view it as a Roy life, Khan isn't even like capable of having ambition beyond things that are kind of nonsensical. So I feel like that's a little unfair when they say that about her. You don't think so?
No, because I just think Shiv at the beginning of season 1 obviously is the moral center, but she's not a complete idiot. Like, she's just not. And the show has like wavered on how smart and capable she is.
Couldn't agree more.
To the point where I'm just like, even the one like womp womp I had about last week's episode, which I thought was nearly perfect, is I'm like, is Shiv really like someone we think can kneecap Kendall at this point? Like, to me, it's like, that's like food for Kendall. Like, the show has done anything. It's shown us, even though Kendall has failed, he is the killer. Like, at the end, when he's like, goes to the press conference and Logan is looking at his son knifing him in the back on live TV, we see that smirk. To this point, he is the only kid, in my estimation, who has been able to do that. And as much as Shiv acts like, no, I have it in me, I'm like, not really, Shiv. Like, not, I don't know. It's the fact that you let Bill get Tom is like, you fucked up the whole process, man.
I let Bill
just got fired by the Houston Texans owner, the Phoenix Suns owner, all, whoever.
Once again, y'all have to remember, I'm Khan in this, so I don't care what you guys say. Like, you guys are all in the rat race. I'm in New Mexico with the Craigslist girl, so like I'm not tripping on whatever happens. I get 1% in Kentucky. I'm really popular in Alaska. I don't want to be a part of the rat race. You know
By the way, I have a couple people in my life who think Sarah Snook's a little overrated as an actress that I've gotten in arguments with. They said she only has like
She is
4 moves.
Fucking
God damn!
dynamite.
All right, we're
They
not gonna
said
go
she only
that
had
way.
like 4 moves.
No,
She had. They
I
were
don't
like,
agree with that at
You
all.
can't
they started imitating her, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's actually hitting close to
No
home."
way.
They did the
No
stuttering
way.
thing.
Now,
They did the eye bulge thing, and they were like, "If she was a center, she'd have a jump hook and a drop step, and that's it." And I was like, "No,
no, she'd have a. Well,
it really hurt my feelings."
This really just
She'd have a jump. She'd have a jump step and a jump hook and a drop step that never fucking misses. Okay.
I
And
also think
always
she's got a
goes in.
15-footer. Like I don't know. I
think she's got a 15-footer.
Yeah.
I really think I don't think there are any acting weak links in the entire show.
That's how I feel.
I really don't think.
I
so.
mean,
Yeah.
if this is gonna be my hottest take of like the whole thing, if I'm gonna be real, I think if there's one actor that we are like being a little hyperbolic about, come on, like Kieran this season, like he's cooking. Don't get me wrong. But people are acting like Kieran is like clearly like number one.
Are you fucking nuts?
No, Kendall's
Are you?
Kendall's the best. Kendall's the best
don't
actor.
like the I don't like the mountain scene as much as everybody else does. Like that would not be on my Emmy reel.
Boy.
Hey, I'm not about to turn this into Midnight Boys. I'm really not about to do that. I'm not about to turn this into Midnight Boys. But this is all time Coke level shit that we're talking about. Right
I didn't say it's bad. I'm just saying like
you're just, bruh.
He's not.
You're zagging. You're zagging for the sake of a zag.
I'm not zagging.
There's no fucking way.
I did not like the mountain scene the minute I saw it. I'm just like,
wow.
This is like, Logan's not here anymore. I'm submitting. Like, this is my chance at the Emmys type shit. Where I'm like,
this is nuts.
I feel like De Niro at the end of Cape Fear when like half his face is burned off. That take was so hot. I lost like my hair. Well, you have 2 picks. You got to worry about your next 2 picks.
Oh, I already know where I'm going because
you got Bill, 6 and 7. What do you got?
You have a little bit too much momentum going with Tom. So the first,
I have Tom and Roman right now. I feel fantastic.
So I'm going for the real white woman MVP of Succession. The person that my girlfriend gets very mad because every single time she graces the screen, I'm like, she's so beautiful. I think that this is like every single time she's on screen is just electric. I have to go with Jerry. Like Jerry is
interesting.
Just
she was next on my board.
Like Van is acting like Jerry isn't the shit. Like what do you have against Jerry?
I fucking love Jerry. And Jerry's not even in the pilot, by the way. She doesn't show up till episode 2, and they kind of sneak her in, and then all of a sudden she becomes essential. And I feel like in a lot of ways she's almost the moral compass of the show. You don't agree, Van?
I feel like Jerry is like the Marcus Smart of the show.
Is that good or bad?
You know,
how dare you, Van?
It's kind of like is both, right? It's like people that love Marcus Smart love him. He's the entire team. I wouldn't trade Marcus Smart for Dennis Johnson, Kevin McHale, and a future Bill Russell. And for other people, it's like he takes charges. He's straight. I like him. You know what I mean? But I feel like Jerry is kind of like is that there's a whole Jerry hive, and because there's such a strong Jerry hive, we can sometimes overvalue Jerry. Jerry is cool, but what has really Jerry done to deserve?
All right, first of all, Jerry and Roman are responsible for probably 5 out of the top 10 funniest moments in this entire series.
But that's Roman. But to me, that's Roman making that happen.
No, that's Jerry just as much. Like, no. You're not giving that all to Roman. That's Jerry just as much. This is
Jerry's great. But
wait, can I go on that Marcus Smart thing for a second? Because I really like where you went there. Glue guy, great, fills in, checks a lot of boxes, really good defender, can guard all types of people. But if I look at the box score and he had like 19 shots, we probably didn't win.
Right.
And that's like Jerry's like, if she's involved, great. But I'm with Charles. I don't know if she could carry an episode, but I think great value here. I support the pick. She was next on my board. Who else do you have, Charles? Who's the next one?
So I have another pick, and it's just like, I was not going to draft this person this high, but I feel like it's the type of person that if either of you get him on the board, it's like there's going to be a contingent. So I have to go with the other half of the Disgusting Brothers. I think Cousin Greg is quite possibly one of the funniest creations that humanity has ever seen. And there's so much in that election episode that has been talked about, but what we have not talked about enough is the moment that Cousin Greg sniffs out that Shiv just doesn't have it. He tells Kendall and he walks away and you see his face.
He smiles. He
smiles. I cracked. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. It was just like, oh my gosh.
Do you guys agree with my theory? He might be the winner in the end. Like when we say we have a US CEO, it actually could be Cousin Greg.
I'm so worried about this.
Wait, hold on, Bill. Are you saying that some people think that Greg might win? I hadn't heard that from anyone.
So a lot of people are saying this.
If you go back and you...
Everybody's fucking saying that.
No, if you go back and you watch the pilot...
Yeah.
If you go back and you watch the pilot, it's really about Kendall and Greg and Logan. But really it's about Kendall trying to get Logan's seat. And it's about Greg kind of working his way into the family. And he's way more involved in the pilot than I think people remember. And I'm just thinking like this British guy, Jesse Armstrong, writing it, who, seems like he's not opposed to taking some shots at America from time to time. I just wonder in his head, would this be a hilarious ending to him that Greg's the one that ends up winning this? Like this idiot cousin that we've watched for 4 years.
It's funny. I don't want to give away everything I said when I was just with Tate, but Bill, I'm sure you haven't seen and will never see Guardians of the Galaxy 3. But if you see Guardians of the Galaxy,
is that a freeform movie? What is that? What channel is that on?
Okay. If you see Guardians of the Galaxy 3, very emotional, amazing film. It turns out that the story was Rocket's story the whole time. And there is something about Greg where Greg could actually be the Rocket Raccoon of Succession. It could turn out that this is actually not about how all of these kids supplant or replace or succeed their father, that it's really about how Logan's grandnephew actually becomes the head of a once great American company. And if that ends up being it, I mean, they're kind of telegraphing
it's a pretty good ending
now.
Charles, it's
That's
Survivor. It's like
ending.
when that person who doesn't win any Survivor challenges somehow is in the final 3 in Survivor and they win, and everybody else is bad. If you couldn't even fucking swim, how did you win Survivor?
If Cousin Greg becomes the winner, I take back all of the here's the reason why, to me, like I've said this on Twitter, I don't think it can happen. Only 2 years have elapsed inside the Succession universe. Like Greg was throwing up in a dog costume like a year and a half ago. For him to be a glorified intern and then be the CEO within 2 years, I'm like, bro, like I can take a lot of shit, but they're literally looking at Shiv every single time. People are like, why can't Shiv be the CEO? It's like, because she was a fucking bleeding heart liberal. What the fuck does she know about running a company? If they do that with Greg, I'm like, all right, come on. Liberal. What are we doing here?
All right, so you took Greg and Jerry.
Yeah, so I have Kendall,
right now the teams
Jerry,
are
and Greg.
Charles has Kendall, Jerry, Greg. Van has Logan and Shiv. And I have Tom. And I have Roman. And now I have Connor Roy.
Wow, Connor. Wow.
I'm also one of the con heads. I have the funniest team out of the three of us. Excuse me.
Bill, you know what you're doing in this entire draft, bro? You're fucking with me, bro. You're fucking with me.
You could have picked two. You chose the third pick.
You know damn well, bro, that was my... Wow, Bill. Okay.
It should have been Connor before Shiv. This is your fault.
I'll tell you one reason why I love Connor. The shows that I've loved over the years always feel like they have to shoehorn in more scenes and more PT and more shots for these supporting characters, right? The usage rate will go up in certain episodes or whatever. Like, I used to love 90210. They would always try to shoehorn in Steve Sanders into plots and stuff. It's like, just put him over there. He's a dude with a blonde afro. Like, he's comic relief. That's it. We don't need Steve Sanders plots. And Connor Roy, they figured it out. Like, he'll come in. He'll have some episodes. He's in only 3 scenes, but every single moment he fucking kills, and he's super funny. And I've just really enjoyed my experience with Connor Roy. So that's my pick. Van, you have 2.
Okay. Well, that was a shock to my system because I didn't think that anybody would pick Connor. I thought Con would be there for me. Draft not going like I thought it would. Okay. So in this case, I have to pick Mattson. Have to.
Mattson?
Have to. Try not to react with like surprise and disgust with every pick I make.
It's just you're embarrassing the Midnight Boys with this. Mattson.
Right now, they're cutting to Van's war room, and people are just like tepidly applauding while like wondering if they're gonna have a job tomorrow.
Mattson would have been there, bro.
So I'm looking around at the rest of these characters, and I'm not sure left on the board who you guys really feel like
there was a drop off.
Choose.
No, there's a drop off. We're in
there's a drop off,
but
Mattson.
Going to Mattson right away is just a little.
I think Mattson's a great character to choose here. Number one, I think Succession throughout the history of the show has been a show that hasn't really had an enemy. A lot of these other shows, they rotate in enemies. There's a Gus Fring, there's a Cartel, there's a Phil Leotardo,
John Lithgow and Dexter.
Yeah, there's
nobody watched Dexter.
I watched it. There's Marlo, Stanfield, whoever. Right? There's always and Succession never had that. Succession never needed that because really that was the space that Logan kind of filled in the show. He was equal parts villain, sort of protagonist, center of the world in a way. Logan's absence and his impending absence, you had to have Mattson. And the character is perfectly played. Arrogant, genius. There's a
fucking weird
quality about him. Weird. Yeah, he's like, doesn't seem like a person. Seems like a all-consuming tech bro cultural entity. And the fact that he doesn't seem real is like such a biting criticism on the tech bros, the sort of tech giants as robber barons in this new Gilded Age that we're in. I think he's a great character, so I'm picking Mattson.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
What do you got next?
So tell me why Mattson's a bad choice. I like
Mattson as a character. I like him as a character. It's just like when we're looking back in 10 years, will he be a top 10 Succession character? I don't know. Like, and I love what he's adding.
Charles is so in your head. Is this what it's like when you guys do every podcast together? Charles just gets in your head. You back off.
Charles, everything I say, like I come off like we're in the Midnight Boys. I could say, do you know who I think was a great American? And then the other 3 guys will go, Hugh, who? And I go, Martin Luther King Jr. And Charles would be like, he's kind of mid.
Are we sure?
like Charles would be like, he's kind of mid. I don't really like. Look, I just watched the I Have a Dream speech. Come on, man. Is that the big deal that people are making? I'm like, okay. Now, I mean, after this, I gotta be honest with you guys. It's really tough.
Let's go speed round. Go. Top of the 4th round.
Speed round. Mencken. I gotta take Mencken. It feels weird to have him on my team, being that he would probably lynch me. But as a character, he represents so much of like real sort of fear that exists inside. I gotta take Mencken. Go ahead, Mencken. Mencken's mine.
I thought that was a really good pick. Megan's a great character. Like he's a really. We talked about him on Prestige on Sunday night. This last episode, he probably only had 10 lines, and the way he was just absorbing everything and kind of letting other people tell him things, but he wasn't really saying anything, and he just kept his guard. I thought it was a really good performance. I think that actor Justin Kirk is great.
Weeds.
I did not have him as my next pick. I'm so glad you left her on the board. This draft is just falling my way. It really feels like the Chiefs draft last year. Lady Caroline,
Knew
AKA
it.
the mom. Just another character with an incredible batting average. Every scene she's in is an A+. I don't think she's probably said a half an hour worth of lines or scenes or whatever, but every time she's in, I'm happy. Her performance last episode, just another banger. Her performance at the wedding, the Shiv's wedding, just out of control. Her up and downing Shiv and going, blimey. Just tour de force. I love Lady Caroline, so welcome aboard.
Loved her. By the way, every single part of that, I promise you, I've seen that before. I've seen older black ladies look at somebody and be like, how long has this been a thing? And she's looking at me like, I didn't tell her. She's like, but you ain't got to tell me nothing. You know how long I've been on this earth? Your pregnant ass. I bet not see you drinking. You know what I mean? So that's happened before. And the scene where she embraces Carrie and then looks at the other woman and goes, hey, this is my Carrie. I'm like, oh, shit. That succession getting a little messy. I love that shit.
Her telling Shiv, basically like last season, not everyone should have kids. I shouldn't have had kids.
Right.
Oh, thanks, Mom.
Caroline makes Logan look like Uncle Phil. Like every single time Caroline shows up, you're just like, Logan is bad, but potentially like this like I would actually rather just have had Logan as the father, because like the stuff that Caroline says to Shiv, I'm like, God damn, like no wonder. Even Tom, every single time Tom sees their mom, he's like, oh, this is why my wife is the way that she is.
What do you have?
Who you got
for next pick?
I thought that this guy was gonna be taken. I have to take Stewie. Like I think Stewie.
Who's next on my board?
Stewie's the funniest character. I don't think he's lost once. Like he may not win, but Stewie never loses. And just every single time he's talking to Kendall, I'm like, part of me, like, if the de-aging shit gets a little bit more crisp, I would do a Kendall Stewie college adventure.
Oh wow,
that's fun.
I love Stewie. He was on my board. Who you have one more pick? Who do you have?
Ooh, one more pick. Damn.
We're getting it. This is really where you win the draft. This is the Isaiah Pacheco part of the draft, where all of a sudden you could end up with a starting running back.
Damn, this is, you know what? I'm going to end with someone who I think whenever she gets screen time, I'm just like, I'm so glad you're here. You could have just been a bit player, but she plays her role well. She doesn't hog up the limelight. And when she speaks, it's always hilarious. I have to go Willa. Willa is my girl. Like, she's been killing it this season. I cannot imagine the show without her, and I don't know if I could say that in season 1.
It's a really good pick. She's another one, very high batting average with not a lot of at-bats. She'll have like 3 lines in an episode, and all of them are really funny.
Bill, where are you going then?
Me?
No,
I'm next.
Oh, it's Bill. It's Bill, yeah.
See, now, my draft could fall apart here. I might be doing a Van. I think I got to do it, though. I love Carolina. I don't understand why she hasn't been more of the show, but in a lot of ways, like her reactions for how little time that she has and how little we know about her, she's weirdly been in a lot of big scenes, and she's always around and always kind of sizing people up. And I think I'm going to take her because I think the other person I wanted to take, I don't think Van's going to take. But I think he would have taken, because we've already seen Van's draft board. It's always like combination of, I love that actor, but I think she's kind of attractive. I am grabbing Carolina before Van is able to take her. Shout out to CR and Big Waz, who opened Club Carolina in St. Bart's a while ago.
I love Carolina. Beautiful. Great actress.
She was in the Bernthal show. What was the name of that show with Wayne Jenkins? That HBO show.
We Own the City.
Yeah,
she was in there?
Wayne Jenkins.
Yeah,
she was in We Own the City.
She was a lawyer. She was like a DA in that. Just different hairdo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
she's good. She's a good actress. All right, Van, what do you got?
Okay, so you took Carolina.
Yeah.
I'm going to take somebody with the worst audition tape for any job I've ever seen before in my life.
Oh, I love this pick.
So
Great
at this point, we just gotta get solid role players.
Yeah.
And this is somebody who has actually out-hit their weight a little bit, is feeble, is threatening, all of that. I'm going with Carrie. Logan's last dish,
Really good pick.
his last meal, I'm going with Carrie.
Oh,
I really
love
like
Carrie.
her.
I love Carrie.
It's a great one. Well, I knew you wouldn't take this guy, and he's still on my board. He is, I don't know, not comeback player of the year because he's been on the show, but like when Laurie Markkinen won Most Improved, I feel like he wins Most Improved for season 4. He had some incredible scenes. He's been around the whole time, never really fully appreciated him, but now I fucking love him. Carl crushed it a few times, and had some really funny lines that I loved. That when he went at Tom, when he did that little monologue at Tom, when Tom's like, "What do you think we should do?" and he just like cuts him down in 20 seconds, like, "Oh, Carl, didn't know he had that in there." Some pride's coming out with Carl this year. It's like, I've had a good fucking career. I know more than you guys. I'm in on Carl. All right, Charles, you got 2.
Oh, wait, no, Van didn't get 2. He only got 1. Right?
Yeah,
I
was I
jumped
supposed
the
to
gun
get
on
2? I don't
Van?
know if I was supposed to get 2.
Yeah, you're supposed to, because
okay.
Van, you
It's
got
fine.
Logan, Shiv,
It's-
Matson, Mencken, and Carrie.
Oh
Okay,
shit! I
so
jumped the gun.
So it's fine. I wasn't going to draft him anyway. I'll throw mine in right now. I'm taking Hugo.
Great one.
Woof, woof.
I'm taking Hugo. Woof woof. Hugo's right
Another
there. Look,
another Most Improved candidate this season.
Most Improved candidate this season. Now we're getting into Logan's kind of inner circle of people that were at the top of Waystar Rocco ATN in the past. I'm not digging Fisher Stevens either for Short Circuit. All has been forgiven, my brother. Okay.
Hey, the dude was married to Michelle Pfeiffer. He's got to have something going on.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not fucking kidding you. He was Michelle Pfeiffer's first
what
husband
era?
in like the late 80s.
Yeah.
When she was a god amongst men. Fisher
We're
fucking
talking
Stevens.
about fabulous Baker
Yeah.
Boy.
Yeah, he was out here.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
I think
Fisher
he
fucking
should have been the
Stevens.
number 1 draft pick.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Fisher.
I read a story that like she was like taking care of his like iguana on the set of like one of his movies. Like she was just all around New York taking care of this pet. Like my man was like getting busy out here.
Hugo.
He's a legend.
All right, I already took Carl. Let's
Yeah,
go
so
speed round.
Charles
Let's try to
is
do this in 5 minutes. Charles, give us 2.
All right, I'm going. I've never seen her get fucked this entire series. I gotta go Marsha. Like Marsha is like, is like legit. Like if she ends up running the company, I would not be surprised. So I'm gonna go Marsha, and then, you know what? I have to go. Like if I needed a surrogate father, I would have to go with Frank. Like Frank is the type of guy where he's the glue guy.
That's good.
You're never gonna be like remarked like, damn, like he can act. But when he shows up, I'm like, man, he is the epitome of like a bit player in the show. Love him.
One of the few people that actually seemed to have some semblance of a soul that was around these work hits. Well, some good people are left in the supporting character class. I got to give shout out to Ewan, who's only been in a few episodes.
Killed it.
But now he's on my team. He crushed the funeral speech. He crushed whatever family episode, the Thanksgiving in season 1, crushed that. Anytime he's been in, it's been a home run. James Cromwell, such a great actor back in the 70s, was on 2 different episodes of The White Shadow playing 2 different people. Just want to point out that. Also was on, I think, Miami Vice. Was in a bunch of action movies in the 80s and 90s and just kind of hung around and turned into James Cromwell. And it's fun to see him. Age 83, just fucking killing it in the funeral speech. So there you go. What do you got, Van?
I am really, really, really at the bottom of the barrel here. So much so that I'm going back. This is strictly for the culture. I was happy to see her pop up. I feel like she was underused when she was on the show. And I'm going to take great pride in being the first person in this draft to draft a Black American. I'm going with Sanaa Lathan. Charles, you couldn't do it. You couldn't put one on for your people. It's impossible. Lisa Arthur, as played by Sanaa Lathan, aging like fine wine, a sister about town. Lisa Arthur. No reason other than the fact that of the characters left, she represents the culture. Stan Lathan's kid.
And you got one more if you want
it. So really on my draft board, like my draft board is, I'm out of people on my draft board. Now
you gotta pick Adrian Brody. Come on, man.
Yeah, take Adrian. We'll give you Adrian Brody for your last pick.
Give me Adrian
Josh
Brody.
Aronson.
Okay.
Take Brody. Take Brody.
Right.
I'm gonna add, as much as I love Jess, and I thought that's who Van was gonna take there. I thought Jess was really important in the last 2 episodes, but just not really strong enough during the season. Really came on late. Whereas Colin, the Grim Reaper, Logan's bodyguard, comes in just an incredibly important season 1, episode 10 performance.
Cooking,
comes in and gets Kendall super evil. We see him again during when Kendall's playing the music when he's trying to fuck up Shiv's speech. Comes in super menacing. But then we had the crazy dinner scene with him and Logan. And then who was the most upset that Logan died? It might have been him. It was like his best friend. Kendall brings him back in the fold. I get a bodyguard.
Best fucking pal. Yeah, no, that's a good pick. That's a good value
I get a
pick.
bodyguard, so I'm going to take him as my last pick. Who do you have, Charles?
Oh, man. Yeah, we are getting low on the totem pole here.
Well, can I give the audience who's left?
Yes.
For your last pick? Jess, Oscar, Madsen's right-hand guy who blew smoke in Greg's face.
I fuck with him.
I loved Oscar. Ebba, the head of communications for Madsen.
Yeah.
Rava.
You can have, the Kendall's ex-wife. You can have Roman's season 1 girlfriend, who Roman wouldn't have sex
wife.
with. Yeah, whatever she was. You could have the dead waiter. You could have Naomi Pierce. You could have Rhea Jewell. You could have Nate.
Comfrey.
Shiv's little affair.
Nate is good. Nate Shiv's
or you could have Gil.
That she hooked up with.
Gil, whatever, the Eric Bogosian character.
You didn't pick Jess, right?
No, you could. I think Jess is the right pick.
I think I'm picking Jess. Like, every single time she's on the screen, I'm just like, oh, yeah, Jess, like homegirl. Like, shit, I love you. I'm going with Jess. She's also part of probably a top 5 scene when Kendall's just like, I might have killed someone. So I got to go with Jess.
Okay. So here's who we have. Charles, your team. Kendall, Jerry, Stewie, Greg, Marsha, Jess. You had Hugo, right?
No, I had Frank and Willa.
Van had Hugo. Frank and Willa. All right, that's your team. Van, you had Logan, Mencken, Shiv. Oh, nobody took Nam Pierce either. Madsen, Lisa Arthur, Hugo, the Adrian Brody character, and Carrie. And then I have Tom, Roman, Connor, Lady Caroline, Carolina, Carl, Ewan, Colin the Grim Reaper. Cerruti, come on in. Tell us who won.
Fuck y'all, I won.
I got to agree. I thought Shiv was a reach. I promise you, I'm not kissing ass here. People are going to think Carl is the steal of the draft, Bill. That dude is
really
hysterical. My favorite line, one of my favorite lines in the show is when they're in, what was it, Turkey, and they're like in that hostage situation, and he just says, I don't want to alarm anybody, but I'm currently having a panic attack. He is underratedly, I think, one of the funniest characters in the entire show. So, Bill, for that, I'll give you the nod. But, man, the Shiv thing really hurts you. I'm sorry.
It's fine. By the way,
that was like when the Lions took that running back 12.
Yeah, great. He could be great, but it's just like not valuable there. Not value. Value is bad.
Wow, it's the hate for Shiv. I got a bona fide Roy potential heir, and no one. Okay, cool. I ride with you, Shiv.
Listen, as always, it's going to be left up to the people who are totally rational, the people on YouTube and Twitter and Reddit. I'm sure they'll have some thoughts on the draft. Fellas, thanks to Rudy. Fellas, enjoy the season finale. Thanks to Charles and thanks to Van. If you want to hear them argue about about the Ringerverse and the Marvel movies and all the what's the next big movie coming out? Are they still making Marvel movies?
The Flash.
Shut up.
Have David Zaslav? Did he send you the Flash? With Tom Cruise as well.
Did they CGI the guy out of there who was getting in all the trouble, or is he still in it?
Oh no, he's still zooming around.
Ezra, whatever.
No, they are.
They
still are zooming around. Okay, just make sure.
Okay.
It'll be a whole fucking think piece. It's a huge thing. We've covered it on the Ringerverse, but the next one is the animated Spider-Man movie, right?
Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse is coming out.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, fellas, for coming on. Appreciate it.
Pew, pew.
No problem. Appreciate you, Bill.